For most of the time I've been on YouTube, I've been sugarcoating a lot of stuff. Even as I have my business called More to Life, I've always tried to make it fit other people rather than being a full expression of myself. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about magic, about creating miracles, synchronicities in your life, in your business. And that requires me to be fully honest with what I think and feel and believe. It doesn't start here, but a good example of what magic means for me was this. When I was in Bali with my friend and I had $30 to my name, and I told my friend with complete conviction that, well, I have $30 to my name. I'm going to quit the business that I have. I actually knew how to get clients from that business because I had been having clients there before, paying my rent, paying my food, paying everything. I I didn't really care too much, which maybe there's a little bit of shame there with the money running in or going out. I was just kind of flowing because I didn't really fully know what I wanted to do with my life. And I was just kind of waiting on that thing to come up. And when I had $30 to my name, it finally came up. And I realized what I wanted to do. And it was something that I wanted to do for my entire life. Ever since I was 13, 14 years old, I was trying to help people get better. I was always trying to see how I can get more disciplined or change my mind or shift things with myself. So basically personal development. But I have realized that beliefs are actually creating a reality. And I realized that if I'm just I know I'm really good at beliefs. I just didn't know that how much of importance it had of your life. So I realized that this is what I want to be doing. I want to break people's beliefs because the beliefs create your reality. And I told this guy that, okay, I'm going to go all in on this thing. I'm going to be helping people, breaking their beliefs, removing their mental blocks, because I know it's going to help people. And it's helped people before. And people have come up to me and said, you're really good at this. It's your natural thing. And it was also inspired by Naval Ravikant. And he said, what's something that looks like play to you, but work to others? And for me, breaking beliefs was the best thing about making people understand what's possible. So I told my friend, I'm like, I have $30. I'm going to do this. I want to help people. This is the way I want to be doing it. And he said, that's not a good idea, is it? But sure, if you're going to do it like this or that. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm just going to do it. It doesn't matter. I have rent due. There are bills coming. I don't care. And the magic, where the magic comes is I'm excited. I'm in a feeling of excitement. I'm really happy, excited. It's fun. And what happens when things are fun and exciting is that things just seem to figure themselves out. So I started doing these sessions and I started working with people and I was doing the hypnosis. And I was doing it for free, completely for free. And there were no money coming in from there. But then randomly people started contacting me for other stuff, like they wanted my old clothing line. Someone had seen someone in Sweden wearing my clothing and they wanted to buy. I got some money from just random places. Even if I was doing free stuff, I got paid somehow. And this is where the magic starts. And this is what I've fully surrendered myself into instead of pushing for a certain outcome. I believe that is just you trying to grasp security or safety. Even though just because history says that something has happened before, it doesn't mean it's going to happen again. History rhymes, it doesn't directly do the same thing again. So you don't even know, but it feels like it's going to work that way that you think. So I continue doing that, and obviously because I was excited, everyone was getting really good services because I was loving this shit. It was my favorite thing to do I ever done in my entire life. People were getting good results, people were shifting their beliefs, they were starting businesses. Then I started working with more entrepreneurs, and well, lo and behold, people started paying me for this. So people were recommending them to their friends, and then all of a sudden people started paying me for this. So even if I had $30 to my name, I had no idea how to get money. I just felt and knew that things are going to be perfect. I just knew that things are going to be okay. And that's also a very important difference, to believe that things are going to be perfect and not okay. Because then all you're going to get is okay. That's all you're going to be open for. But more about that later. So what happened was, from this suffering, or if I was going to call someone else, they would say that is the most stupid thing. If I was going to call my parents at this time, they would say that's the most stupid thing you can ever do. But this allowed me to start making a monthly income from this work. And that supported me. So that's one way of magic. But the way I live in magic now, and I don't like the word magic because it's just life. I don't have a to-do list. I don't work for a certain amount of time or period. I simply sit up in meditation every day in stillness and ask myself, what's the most exciting thing today? Or what's the most exciting thing on the way to this big goal that I have? And that big goal could be anything. So what I do, instead of forcing and pushing and forcing my way forward, I just simply put an intention and I let life guide me towards it. Just like I had no idea how to get the clients, I let life guide me towards the clients. I let life give me my rent, my food, everything. But what it really takes to be able to live like this is trust. And then how to fully live in it, you need belief. You need a knowing that it is going to be perfect no matter what. But once you start fully accepting and leaning into this truth, that also means you can keep a much higher feeling, a much higher vibe, even if things seem to be going absolutely shit. And of course, if you're working a normal job, maybe you can't relate as much for this, but then you can use magic in a different way, which is like, okay, how big or how cool can my life become? And setting the intention for life to show you an even better life and allowing what's going to happen to come. So the way it looks is basically, instead of searching out information, you let the information find you. Instead of looking for something outside of yourself, you wait for that experience to come. So that could be, well, really, when you start living in this fully and fully devoting yourself to this practice or this way of living, everything is magical. Every situation that you have, every experience that you have, every time someone cooks you food, that is part of the magic. This is part of the creation. So some people will say that it's absolutely stupid to say that there's magic or there's synchronicities or miracles happening. And they say you have to prove this. Well, I think it's the same amount of stupidity to think that there's no miracles or no magic or no synchronicities. And try to prove that. Try to prove that there's no synchronicities. Try to prove why some people who are lucky, they keep being lucky. To why they keep winning. To why the people in a really good vibe who always say that things always work out for me. And they always do. Try to explain how that works. And personally, for me, I've experienced it so much that I don't need any more proof. I understand that it works. Yes, absolutely. Do I doubt it sometimes? 100%. But that's just for a couple of hours, for a couple of minutes, or a couple of days that I am not in that mind state. So the reason why we want to live in magic is because, one, it gives your life so much more purpose. Two, it makes it so much more fun. And three, life will show you much better stuff than you think that you can find. Yeah, you think that your job that you're doing right now is the best thing that you can do. But if you just allow life to show its magic, you're going to find something completely else. Or a completely different path. Does that mean that you're not going to have money? or you're not gonna have success. No, absolutely not. It's quite the opposite, actually. The more you trust into this, the faster you can go. The more you trust life's magic, the more you can lean into it, and the faster you can go forward. And all that is stopping you there is your nervous system, which is keeping yourself in a calm, relaxed state, because life will push you out of your comfort zone. And if you heard any of these cliche quotes, they always say that life happens outside of your comfort zone. So what will happen is that these things are going to pull you, these opportunities are going to pull you outside of your comfort zone, because that is where the excitement is going to draw you. That's where the feeling is going to draw you. So is it going to make you more successful? Absolutely. Is it going to make you more fun? Yes, yes, yes. Everything, yes. Is it going to be scary? At first, absolutely. But you don't have to start in that way. That's the you start with baby steps. You start crawling and then walking and then starting to jog and then run. And then all of a sudden you can jump off a cliff and fly because you trust it so much and you've done it before. And that's the way I live my life now. And I've been hiding this because I think I've questioned myself if this is completely insane. Even though I have friends or people I've met who have heard they talk about it, about making life a devotional practice and just letting it figure itself out. And one of the things that I always thought about was, okay, I have some old friends, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, how can you even like figure life out? And I question them because I understand that, like, in school and when I meet them now, they're not the smartest in the toolbox, and I mean that's okay. But also, I'm not judging them for that. I'm just realizing that, oh my god, life is figuring itself out for them too, even if they're not aware of it. Life is supporting them fully on their journey and path. So that's also been helping me to just look at the people around me and try to understand and see, why are some people doing it in such an effortless and easy way. And a lot of it is about trust, according to me. So how do we live in magic? Well, that's a very good question. And I think it's a path to start walking on, and then you're going to fall off the path and you walk back onto it. But essentially it's about first understanding that you are the creator of everything. So everything that you create, every situation that you have in your life is self-created, which also means that you can get out of it. If you do not enjoy something, you can get out of it. But then stepping into the magic is like, how do we create the synchronicities, the happiness, the excitement, the fun opportunities, the amazing experience of life? Well, that is through learning how to, number one, having an intention. So setting an intention that, okay, things are going to be absolutely perfect from now on. Every day is perfect. And that's the belief you want to start circulating in your life, and learning how to use that as an intention. So what's the intention for this day? What's the intention for this moment? That is to fully relax into that everything is perfect. Or whatever you want. Relaxing that if your goal is to make $1 million, if that's an example that you're like, oh no, if I surrender to magic, I'm not going to be able to make $1 million. Well, you are, if that's your intention. You can still do the same thing if that's your intention. So you put your intention then that I am sure, and I surrender to that this is going to bring me to $1 million. And then you literally wait. You hold your energy high, which is basically your emotional state. You keep your emotional state high by just doing things that makes you feel good on a spiritual, on a mental, and a physical plane, which is eating well, taking care of your body, meditating and take care of your mind, and trusting, which is taking care of your spirit, trusting life. And then things come up. And this is where I like to just shut off as much as I can, shut off as much research and news and social media as much as you can, because it's really hard to notice things if you're constantly being bombarded by information everywhere because you're searching it out. So what I like to do is just shut off everything and see what comes up. That's where the messages are going to come up. That's when someone is going to invite you to something, and that thing is going to make you think a specific way, and that is going to bring you to a specific place. And then you're going to create a video about a specific thing or create a product because that thing was already in work. But the problem is, many times when we do this, is that we start trusting it. And then something comes up and we're like, nah, that cannot be connected to my intention, my goal, my dream, my desires. So you don't do it. But in reality, we need to understand again that everything is the magic. Everything that happens is part of the magic. Every time someone tells you something, it's part of the magic. So what do we do? What do we follow then? Well, that's the feeling. So you put yourself in emotional state that you want to be in, which is, I like excitement and peace, or excitement and calm, or just excitement, if that's the thing, or happiness can be a perfect thing too. Then you're going to have situations, experiences, people, messages that keep you being happy. But I enjoy sometimes just being excited, which is like a little bit funny, a little bit scary, a little bit outside my comfort zone, and then having the intention that everything is perfectly aligning with all of my goals. And all of my goals are things that are exciting for me. It's not to fill a void. It's not to, oh yeah, I want to make $1 million so people can love me or respect me or I can be good enough. No, obviously, you've already worked on yourself. You are working on yourself, and you're removing the beliefs that are stopping you from being able to live in this magic. But I forgot completely what I was going to say. But to finally wrap this up and letting that being forgotten, it's all about just creating the emotion, which people, they talk about frequency and vibration and all of these things. All you have to think about is feeling good. If feeling good is your emotional state, and then you act out on everything that feels good and you continue doing that. For example, a really a stupid thing that people say, it's like, oh yeah, then I will eat a lot of candy. Okay, try to eat a lot of candy and see how long it's going to make you feel good. And then you can follow that for as long as you want. And that will make you feel good for a while. But you already know at the back of your mind that it's not going to make you feel good. So why are you keeping doing it? Then we need to understand if that's a self-sabotage based on your beliefs, or if that is actual happiness for you. So to actually fully surrender into magic, we also need to start looking at ourselves and start to look at life as a mirror of ourselves. So seeing every character and every experience also as a mirror of ourselves. All of them playing a role in you discovering yourself and exploring more of who you are, so you can express it more into the world. So that is magic. Magic is trusting in life and breaking free from all the expectations that everyone, the society, your family, your friends, everyone has put on you, and deciding to live life on exactly your own terms. And I was going to say that, oh, that's not always possible, but it is. You decide. Even if that means hurting some people, you decide if you want to live it on your own terms. You decide. And sometimes what you want to do, because it feels good to you, it makes you feel happy, is doing something that you don't want to do for someone that you love. But that is still following your happiness. But you have to have the awareness and focus to understand if it's actually true. And that's why we use stillness. That's why we're still present. That's why we're not scrolling on Instagram all the time or watching YouTube all the time, because that is going to take our thoughts away. That's going to take our presence away. So the magic always starts in the now. It doesn't happen in the future. It doesn't happen in the past. It happens in the now. So being aware, noticing, and experiencing the magic. Thank you.